Yo, it's been about 8 months since my last video, but I'm back. If you're new here, my name is Bradley Santos. I am from Seattle, Washington. I'm a designer and creator, whatever you want to call it. Here's a couple updates. My creative space has changed. As you could see around here, I rebrand my Instagram, which I've been more consistent on lately. With the revamp and the rebrand of my Instagram, I really wanted to create a creative series that could help other creators like you that are just trying to make it. So today we are talking about the creative gap. The term creative gap is a way of describing what creators can visualize in their head versus what they can actually create. So what's in your head versus what you actually create. For example, a photographer or a designer or a creative, there's something you could see in your head, you visualize it, and then there's something you could actually do on how to create it. If you're a creator, think about the last great idea you had in your head. You're probably super amazed and super stoked about it, but then when you try to create it, it didn't match up what was in your head. That's the creative gap. The creative gap is an endless struggle for anybody in the creative industry. It's gonna continue to be there when you're a newbie, like first year experience or your 10 years experience. And what happens with the creative gap is the more you're experienced in the creative industry, the more your brain starts to visualize and inspire on certain things. So of course, naturally that gap will always change the more projects you work on. So here are 3 ways to tackle the creative gap. 1, love learning. Grow your technical skills so you can get closer to what you visualize in your head. If you gotta learn how to use a camera better, learn how to use design applications better like Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, you have to continue to let your brain absorb these things so that you could start to visualize what's in your head and know how to execute it with your hands or whatever you're creating. Number 2, finish something. Actually go create. You'll never get better at anything if you don't know how to finish or create something. Try your best to not get stuck in this mentality. If only I had this, then I'll finish that. When you finish something, you give yourself and your brain an opportunity to stop, to give yourself a certain checkpoint. That's where you could see how far you are from the creative gap of what's in your head versus what you can execute. What happens when you finish something is you know your limit of your technical skills. So you know exactly what to learn, what to try and learn, and be able to accomplish something more. You also give your brain an opportunity to visualize something bigger than what you originally visualized last week or before you created that. So it makes this ongoing thing where you don't get stuck. Us as creatives, we like to have that deadline, get pushed as long as we can because we are perfectionists. But the biggest thing here is to learn to finish something even if it's not perfect. Number 3, creativity is a muscle. If you visualize something in your head and you for sure want to accomplish that, you have to work on other things outside of that. Establish small habits for your brain to be creative, to be working, to be doing something. Some things I try and do is maybe I'll take a photo that I've taken like maybe a couple years ago. I've edited it already. I'll re-edit it. Let my brain think about it differently. For designers or something like that, designing in a different mediums. If you've been designing in a lot of print stuff lately, try something digital. If you're trying to do a lot of digital stuff, try going into print stuff. Go into techniques of a t-shirt design and then switch to techniques for an app design. When your creativity is actively working and moving on small things and big things, the next time you visualize or want to create something, those little pieces that you've worked on continue to help you narrow that creative gap. My name is Bradley Santos, your creative friend. Follow me on Instagram or on YouTube. Peace!